Yo, so it's the day after the last video. This would be video 31. I've literally been here for like a few hours and I've just been tidying up. Got rid of the massive pile of sawdust on the floor in the doorway. My good friend Tom Upton has just dropped off. He's the best snap-on dealer in the world, by the way. But he's just dropped off this sick JD squared tube bender that has been modified and had an air ram affixed to it, which is ideal. Doesn't need bolting down to the floor. I can just roll it outside. Also, I have been lent 4 dies from 1 inch up to 1.75, and this means that I can just get on this week and get this cage sorted for this Micra, and I don't have to send my car anywhere. I'm seriously considering starting with the front end because I mean that's good practice, and I don't know if I can mess it up that well. Basically, I don't want to use and waste any 1.75 material, which is going to be for the legs, up and around, and the main hoop. So I might start doing things with 1.5 first, and the 1.5 is going to be for the front end and things like the rear legs and the door bars, etc. So I think that's what we will do. It's a great cup. Where's my 2019 cup, Tom? So the first thing I've done is take out the engine and the subframe and bolt on the front end, which before I cut it off I just like welded these pieces of angle iron on so that I could bolt it in accurately with the subframe bolts back into its original position. It's quite funny because I still have the mounts for the Suzuki set up. Anyway, I need to whip off the front bumper again, and what I need to do is I need to make up a jig that's going to locate these bumper mounting positions, and I think I'm going to go for the 2 hinge points where the bonnet will bolt on, because I reckon I'm just going to keep it on original hinges and just have like stealth pins at the back. So I'll do that, make up a jig. I'll cut some of this so it's similar to this, so it comes off the bottom underneath with a bar going across, and then it will come forward, another crossbar to locate these bumper mounting tabs, and also then bring it up to meet up to the hinge location. Then I can take the front end right off, and what I'll do is I'll start like picking away at this, and I'll get it down so I've just got a front panel and the front sections of chassis rail here, and then I can bolt it all back on and start actually, well, I'll just be bolting obviously the front panel on, and then I can start making up parts. So I've got the bumper legs, the lower front cross member section, and I've got to design a top rail. So the top rail will come down and around and follow this profile so that I've got something to mount the wings to. And for now I may just use like the section of cross member that section of front panel that I need to mount the headlight and the side light, and you know, this top part here for the minute. But eventually that will probably get I'll either get a laser cut piece of aluminium, so I've got a drawing for it, so if it gets damaged I can just replace that easily, or I will try and mould it in composite material of some sort. Also, obviously I need the grille mounting points, so chances are I'll probably keep this for now, and the top rail that's going to come round will just sneak in behind here. Before I start bending anything, I've got to get some of the material out that I'm going to use. I've actually got multiple dies, so I could get a thinner material, but I think for now I'm just going to go for 1.5 inch, just in case I decide that I'm going to incorporate some sort of shock mounting off of the top rail. Eventually the cage is going to be coming through here from the front legs, so I don't know whether I'll be doing the cage to here and then mount the shocks off of that. I haven't decided any of that yet. I'm just going to start bending stuff, start making stuff, and see how it all looks. So first job is going to be measuring up these points, cutting this and drilling it so that it can bolt on underneath. Then I've got some box over there that I'll use. I will come back once I've made those bits and cut the tube and started making the jig. Got my plates made up for the front bumper and for the underside of here, so I'm just going to bolt these up now, and then I will cut some box section and we will weld it in, and then that'll be the start of the front end jig. So I got these bits bolted on, and what I did was I marked the bumper where the bolts come through with a little pen mark, because these are slotted holes. But something I've noticed, and I'm not sure what to do about it, is these are actually, they're not square with the car, and this one's even worse. And that's how they are from the factory, although this is probably bent a little bit, so what I'm going to do is probably straighten them up a little bit. I've done the pen marks so that I can line it up so the bumper will go straight on. But if I show you the bumper a minute, that's at an angle as well, and so is that, but they're quite flimsy, so what I might do is square them up, then I can always alter the bumper to match. And if I have any problem with alignment, those brackets on the bumper are quite flimsy, and I can always slot these holes in the new front end just to give me that little bit of leeway anyway. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to square them up to the car, especially this one. I'm going to make it a lot better. So what I might do is have a quick look at my other Micra, see if I can see if that's the same. Oh my god, this needs a clean. This is bad. I'm a bad person. So you can kind of see that's the same, maybe not quite as extreme. I've squared them up, I've made them vertical with spirit level, and I've brought them in so they're kind of straight with the car. Could probably go a touch more maybe, but I don't think it's bad. Maybe I'll give it a little bit more of a tweak. I mean, iron it up with the cross member, it looks bang on this side, and then on this side it's tiny bit, maybe tiny bit out. It's pretty good. As you can see, this is a whole different front corner, so it might not be bang on anyway. From here and here and then here, that's all new. Should I go metal flake on the bay again? But I'm happy with that now, and I'll just alter the bumper to suit that. Okay, so this is where I'm at. So what I need to do now is join these two together, but that length of steel that I had is now only that length. So I might have to pop off to the steel suppliers. I have got some bits of box, like that 1 inch stuff down there, that might make the distance, but I don't know if it's going to be rigid enough for what I want to do. Just got back from the suppliers. I've got 2 3-meter lengths, and you can actually get it in a Micra if you take all the seats out. So we are go. Well, this is where I'm at so far. Got the hinge points jigged and the bumper mounts jigged. Got the front panel cut down to the sections I want, but I've still got a bit in the back here that needs trimming away. So what I might do is just cut along here and up and through here for the minute, just to get the bulk out of the way. Got one wing mounting point, which I can measure from there to there, and I know it's got to be 750, and I've marked that on both sides. I put the headlights in so I can make sure that my tube is going to clear, and as you can see, I've cut a length of tube, which is actually, if I cut this tube in half, is the right lengths to make my, you know, my front legs, the front bumper legs, gubbins. So I've got my bumper points. I've offered the bumper up. It's actually quite a bit away from meeting up, but I can, like I said, I'll tweak the bumper to match, and any bumpers I buy in the future. I may even change the bumper bar just behind the bumper because it's quite heavy, and make something out of a lighter material that's probably going to be stronger. So that's where I'm at. Headlights in. Got to make a like a bending guide like this. This is 1 inch, and this mark here is the beginning of the clamp. So what I need to do is make another one of them with that mark. So then you basically offer this up where you want it, and then you can measure from this mark to the center line of your tube, the center point, and then you always work from the center of your tube out to that mark, and you know that it's got to be X millimeters, start your bend, and it's going to go off in and land in the right direction, providing you've got the angle correct, which I've measured, and it's about 92 degrees. It's almost bang on 90. Tom, who's kindly lent me the tube bender, is actually bringing out some bits and bobs for it, because in exchange for the use of it, I'm going to be changing the wheels and making some tool trays for all the dies and everything. So while he's here, I'll probably get him to help me quickly set the machine up with the right die. Not that I can't do it, but it's always more fun when you've got a friend. And then I can get on and actually bend this top tube. He may even kick around and stay for that. Fantastic, isn't it? Just imagine if I wasn't looking at that and it went round to 120. Okay, so I'm just packing up for the day. I've actually spent 7 hours doing this front end today, making this jig. So Tom came and we had a play with the tube bender. I've never used a tube bender before, and he hasn't used one since about mid 2014. But we managed to knock this out, and it's basically perfect. As you can see, it lands in the middle of the bolt holes, which is pretty awesome. And given myself a little bit of extra length here so I can trim it to the right length. I've got to remove this material in here tomorrow morning so that I can lay it in there and then get the plates on. Got some material for that there. If I run out there, I've got some more down here. This material's for the cage feet, but I've got more than enough. And I need to make some plates up for this end, make some plates up for there. So yeah, I'll knock that out in the morning. I've been on it, like I said, for about 7 hours, and I actually did like 4 hours of housework this morning, so I'm pretty tired. And the plan is that I'll get this tube in and it will lay in here, and then I'll run tubes down behind this panel to the bars that will be in here for the bumper mounting. Knock these threads out, and I'll turn up some threaded bosses with M6 threads in. That will then weld on to the backs of the drop down tubes, and the hinges will bolt through and sandwich the front panel to the drop down tube, which means that in the future I can make a fiberglass version of this with all these mounting points for the grill and whatnot. And then I've also tomorrow got to knock up a bottom cross member, which is going to help protect like the radiator and everything. I'm going to fully tuck all the radiator and intercooler back as far as I can close to the engine though. So yeah, I need to make consideration that it actually fits. Whatever I order needs to fit between the bumper bars, the bumper mounting rails, or whatever you want to call them. But yeah, good progress, and this getting on with this tonight has actually given me the confidence and the little bit of practice that I need to crack on and do the main hoop and the front legs, which I'm hopefully going to make a start on this weekend. That would be really awesome if I could. It looks like they're going to be quite easy. It's going to be vertically straight up till the bottom of the window, and then it will go up at the angle of the pillars there, and then straight across the roof. So it's going to be 4 bends in total on that hoop, and it's probably going to lie somewhere in here because of where my seat is. Obviously I want it as close to the back of the seat as possible without interfering with my head, so I can have a harness bar right behind the seats then. So yeah, good progress. Hopefully get this front end sorted tomorrow. Hopefully it won't take me too long, but I can imagine I can spend most of the day on that. And I would like to go and ride my bike tomorrow if the weather's nice. As you can see, I made a centre line and I marked, you know, this is the start of the bend, and then under here you can't really see the line, but the start of the bend. So the starts of the bend line up perfectly with my marks that I originally put in, and the centre line point is like the thickness of a pen off, so it's like next to nothing, and it pretty much sits perfectly at each end, so like at the where it meets the body. So I'm quite happy with that, and I mean, if I was going to do it again, I'd make it out of much smaller material, but I'm making it with material I've got, and I want it to be able to withstand a minor shunt, which it should be able to, being CDS roll cage material. So yeah, that's going to be it for tonight, and I'm going to crack on again in the morning. And this is how we basically offered this up, and that's where I put the marks, so I knew where I wanted it to lie, this radius, so it's nice in the perfect position. And that's how I determined my marks, and we measured across, which was 750 from that side to this side, and then we just worked from the center of the tube out when we had a straight length. Straight length started off at, we wanted to be about 2,600 millimeters or 2.6 meters, but we actually went for 2.7 just to give us that bit of extra. So it's quite successful so far, and we will see how far I get tomorrow. Right, so it's the next day now, and I've removed all this material in here that I needed to remove. So I've made these plates to go up here. They need shaping, obviously, but I need to mark out these holes. So here's a little transfer punch in the hole. Got to remember not to screw it in too far and not to hit it too hard, else you'll never get it back out again. Put it in the lathe and machine a point on the cut end, and then you screw it in give it a tap with a hammer, and it will leave a punch mark on the plate, but I'm going to do one hole at a time so that, you know, it's more accurate that way. One hole at a time, put the bolt in, job's a good one. Okay, so I got one tube, or I got the top tube all cut in. Took some time because I wanted to get, like, you know, a perfect gap. All the way around on both tubes. It's level to the car on the front. I've measured down and it's the same either side. Just threw a couple of, well, just a short bead on each side. I've trapped me nuts. Right, weld nuts are on. It's pretty damn hot. Weld nuts are on, made up the plates. Hopefully, I mean, that'll be fine once I've got cap heads, like Allen key bolts. It's a little bit squeaky. Obviously I've marked the line all the way around, which is to give me clearance so that the plate fits back on the end of the chassis. So I'm going to weld them on. Then I can crack on and get those tubes done. Got an hour and 20 minutes left till I've got to go out, but there's a chance I might get back here tonight and get another hour or two in on this. Well, I got those tubes done, and then I also got those done, all tacked in. And then this morning I started to fully weld this. It was my first mission, was to come in and fully weld stuff, and I mean, it was kind of going okay until I ran out of gas. That's where I ran out of gas on that weld there. So I spent the rest of the day cracking on with the cage, and I got the main hoop done. I'm quite happy with the front end. I really wanted to get the jig off, but unfortunately I'm unable to take the jig off until it's fully welded. So this is how it will stay for the minute. Also, I've got a few bosses to make. I've got to make bosses to weld underneath here to pin this down, bosses to weld on these tubes at the back for the hinges to bolt to. Do these bolts here. And what else have I got to do? Make some tabs for the wings. And yeah, probably add some more fixings elsewhere, although I could add some more fixings for the front panel, but these two either side and one up here either side probably be enough. Depends off if this flaps. It might want some extra support there to stop that flapping, but we will cross that bridge when we get to it. Basically, my next mission is to finish welding all of this stuff. I took the jig off to see what it would look like, and I threw a front bumper on. I'll just get back so you can get a look of what that might look like. So yeah, there's the front bumper. It still needs a little bit of tweaking with the brackets on the bumper, and because everything's just tacked, I don't want to force it into place. It's only got like a small tack there, and the same on the other side. And you can see there's a bit of a gap to pull in, but I don't want to go too ham and ruin the work I've done already. So as soon as I get gas, I'll be back on it. It's pretty cool actually how the top tube and the bumper bars, the bumper legs, they actually like follow the same angle pretty much. It's pretty cool. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, it's Dory.Professor, and I've been posting a lot of like in between video updates so it might be worth following me on there if you want to get some like sneaky previews before videos come out. Okay, so in here I've got a gem of a find. This has been in storage for about a year, but it's a brand new old stock K10 Micra pre-facelift bonnet. And this is where I'm at with the front end right now. Lower crash bar, pretty much all done. Boss is welded on for the bonnet hinges. So I'm just going to quickly whop on this bonnet and then I'm going to call it a night. Okay, so front end is pretty much finished. I did a bit of shaping on the plates. Got the bumper to fit quite nicely. I literally just bolted it up. Drilled the holes out to 8.5 so I don't have to like hammer it in, and it all fitted together nicely. In fact, I didn't have to bend these hardly at all. They kind of bent themselves. Got this new old stock bonnet fitted and it fits really great. I mean, I haven't really attempted to align it very much, just literally slapped it on. And as you can see, it could do with going over a couple of mil, which isn't bad considering I made this jig off of this old jalopy front end that I'd cut off and repositioned. All welded up and machined up some hinge bosses and got them welded on. I'll show you underneath a minute. As you can see, it's pretty well finished. I have got a few more bits to do. I've got to mount radiator and intercooler to these bars here somehow, and probably make a bit of ducting that will mount to the front here and duct air into the radiator and the intercooler. Got to come up with some sort of bonnet stay. This bonnet won't be used, but I'll use it to make a mould for a composite bonnet of some kind. It's brand new old stock. It's like one of the purest forms of unobtainium I've ever laid my hands on. I'm quite happy with how this front end's gone. So that's kind of going to wrap it up for this front end video. And in the next video I'm going to cover some of this roll cage I've been making. Quite happy with how it's coming out. Needs a little bit cutting off up here, but we'll get into that in the next video, and hopefully I'll get some time on it and it will come along a lot further than where it's at the moment. Got a roof bar to do and a dash bar to do, so we'll cover that when we get to it. But yeah, I'm stoked. So what I need to do is get the front panel on there. The front panel will sandwich between the hinges and the framework. The front panel's here. Got to grind off these little nubbins. It's not really worth doing for this video. But in the next video I'll most likely have it on there with the headlights and the grille in there, so you can just see how it looks. Right, I'm going to go home, get washed up and go to bed.